hear this to Mayock's voice coach? That's Tom Cable. Tom Cable.
I was watching the monitor.
Coach Cable, what do you think about the trade for Jason Campbell?
Look at the size of that knot.
Well, I like the fact that Jason Campbell is on our team now. I got to tell you, I think we got something good. Boom. I like it. Boom. Mr. Davis said pull the trigger on that. I said okay. We'll be back with more from Radio City.
I think it's got to be a tackle, either Campbell, the kid from Maryland, or Charles Brown, one or the other.
You agree?
Yeah, I think that's where it has to go. And what's interesting is we spent all this time on Campbell possibly being the first-round pick. They're going to get him at a much better value, but maybe about where he's supposed to go, as opposed to elevating him as a number 8 pick in the draft.
And I think we've seen that Oakland, at least this year, is being a little more practical, a little more prudent.
My apology, the pick is not in the announcement. There's a minute left to go. I'm looking at the draft pit, and one of the members of the National Football League front office, Joel Bussard, is on the phone, and usually when he's on the phone, that means a trade is being conducted. The gentleman at the leftmost position of that draft pit, as they're counting down the time. There is now a pick pass, but there may be a trade coming, and I believe there is a trade coming as the Ravens are now on the clock. People go a little crazy, right, when they hear that sort of stuff. But this is a pick that used to belong to the Dolphins, was traded to the Broncos as part of the deal for Brandon Marshall. And it looks like Gronkowski's on the phone. So let's try and sort all this stuff out. The Ravens are now on the clock. But the Raiders, we believe, have made a trade. And as you can see, it looks like it was for the tight end Rob Gronkowski. We're waiting to hear who it could be from. There's all sorts of chaos in the draft pit, people on phones, people holding up cards. But it does appear that the Raiders have now traded the pick to New England. Isn't it interesting that the Raiders in New England have actually made a trade? That's never really heard of any precedents for anything like that, certainly on a draft day. So maybe they went ahead and they traded up to get Gronkowski. Did that make any sense to you, Mike?
Well, but if New England's, because New England's after Baltimore, this gets, if the trade is in, now Baltimore, if they wanted to pick right now, could immediately turn that card in, unless it's just a matter of them catching up.
Must have done.
If they have done that and tight end was a place that Baltimore was looking for, Baltimore may have jumped in here.
Both teams have a tight end need.
Believe me, I've lived this one.
The bottom line is Gronkowski's been drafted by someone, it seems. The agent's on the phone, he's on the phone, and it looks like he's being drafted by somebody.
If it's Baltimore, that really fits.
You take a look at the draft. You take a look at the draft pit, and again, there's lots of fingers being held up. Wait a minute, I've got this card. I'm on this phone. They're trying to sort everything out. As you said, New England being on the clock.
And what happened, let me interrupt if I can. If indeed Oakland has let this lapse, Baltimore, if indeed they jump on, what happens is everybody's allowed to jump in right now until Oakland decides, unless indeed, as you say, they've got the trade orchestrated.
The Patriots are 44th overall picking. And let's figure out, Dion's going to find out what's going on at the draft table there. Brian, what can you get us? Anything?
New England Patriots. That's from the horse's mouth. The family is elated. Everyone's happy. He's whispering now. He's still in the conversation.
Well, if he's with Belichick, you can't interrupt
right now.
Well, but Baltimore's on the clock, and that may not be.
Coach Belichick right now.
And the deal is they lost Ben Watson. They signed Algie Crumpler, who's, to put it kindly, he's on the back nine of his career.
He's a veteran.
He's a veteran. Now we've got a guy in New England. If you're a New England fan, you go, okay, inline blocker, almost as good as Brandon Pettigrew, and a guy that can get down the field and catch the football.
All right, now the commissioner, I think he's personally going to the draft pit saying, guys, what do we got? Uh-oh, the commissioner's taking steps into the pit. Look out.
And I will tell you this.
He's going in to find out what's up.
Go get him, Rod.
Ozzie Newsome's not going to draft anybody he can't talk to. Bill Belichick's tying up the line for Gronkowski if indeed they want to go
Mike
to.
Lombardi is reporting that he hears it could be Mount Cody for Baltimore. So we got people on the clock, maybe. We got trades potentially. We're trying to sort it all out. All I know is at the top of the NFL flow chart, his step foot in the draft pit, peering over people's shoulders.
Here's what I think's going to happen. New England's going to get the tight end. Baltimore, at which point we just heard that it might be Mountain Cody, it might be Sergio Kindle. One of those two guys, I think, could end up, and I think that's how it's going to shuffle out.
And who do the Raiders end up with?
Now, did Oakland and New England flop?
Yeah.
This is getting kind of fun.
Maybe, you know, we should have. Maybe someone needs to go under the hood.
Absolutely.
And get in some instant replay here.
I'll get another $25,000 fine.
Was your pick in first? Did you call?
You want to throw the challenge flag here?
I accused Johnny Greer of looking at pictures of his grandkids when he did that. Cost me $25,000.
That's a $25,000 joke, though. That's pretty good stuff. Pretty good quality material. As now the 44th selection, the Patriots are on the clock with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go.
No, isn't that Oakland?
We assume that's now Oakland now on the clock. Yes, with 2 picks to announce. And we assume Gronkowski in the green room, as you heard from Dion, said it straight from the horse's mouth. It seems that the Patriots chose him 42nd overall.
Watch that back, though.
That's a football playing family right there, folks.
Shoot, everybody.
Neat stuff.
Everybody's played. Everybody's played.
I know, and he's been waiting, but to go to the Kraft family and Bill Belichick and get into an offense with Tom Brady, that is worth the wait. And here's the commissioner. He's going to sort all this stuff out. He's the top dog here.
Oakland has traded the 42nd pick to New England. With the 42nd pick in the 2010 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Rob Gronkowski, tight end, Arizona.
Last couple years, Terrell Suggs has not been as productive because they haven't been able to establish that outside edge off the other side. Sergio Kindle, always difficult when you're dealing with the injury. As we said, Mike, earlier, that's the only reason he's here.
Yep.
Baltimore Ravens have the best of the business with Bill Tessendorf. He's obviously signed off on this. That young man's gone to a good team, obviously, in a good situation.
We have another prospect in the green room who appears to look relieved and elated all at the same time. With the Raiders having their pick in, it looks like Lamar Houston is going to come out of that green room next and give the commissioner a bear hug. This looks like to be the next Oakland Raider, Mike.
And another solid pick by the Oakland Raiders. Good 3 technique. Remember, they released Warren this past season. They haven't replaced him yet.
With the 44th pick in the 2010 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select Lamar Houston, defensive tackle, Texas.
Defensive tackles are getting eaten up on my board. Lamar Houston, the 6th defensive tackle off the board. 3 technique, carrying that helmet proudly out to the front of the stage. When we talk about a 3 technique, we talk about a player that has the quickness to get up the field and be disruptive. Here comes the hug. How good is that? Roger Goodell must feel very loved over this particular weekend, man.
Well, back-to-back Longhorns have gone off the board, and the Oakland Raiders, let's give credit where it's due, guys. The Oakland Raiders, the much maligned Oakland Raiders, for their drafting about the wild card that the owner's going to be. You never know what they're going to do. They fall in love with certain people that the rest of the league does not. Rolando McClain, number 1. And then they get Lamar Houston by moving down the draft board and collecting a 5th and a 6th round selection at the same time. And now we move forward. We've got it all sorted out. We didn't know what was going on, but now we do.